Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd, fa bismillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Indeed, all praise and thanks are due to Allah, and peace and blessings be upon His Messenger. Proceeding to the video, we begin with Allah's name, subhanahu wa ta'ala, so peace be upon you, welcome and greetings. We're going to go into one of the most elaborated, one of the most long or difficult rules in Tajweed, which is called the Ikhfa. And here's the basic ruling. If any of these letters, these 15 letters down here, they come after a nun sakin or nun sukun, that's that, or tanween, anin, it will be read with a slight nasal sound, and so basically we're gonna nasalate the sound for 2 haraka, and that's only if we see a nun sakin or tanween, and after it comes either any of these letters: ta, tha, jim, dal, zal, za, sin, shin, sad, dad, ta, dha, fa, qaf, kaf. So the first few might be hard. Ta, tha, jim. You should try to memorize this. Dal, dal, za. So then you have sin, shin, sad, dad, ta, dha, which are 6 in order. So you should try to memorize that. And then fa, qaf, kaf, which is also pretty easy, inshallah. So it's just, you're going to have to put an effort in memorizing the first 6 letters. So once you memorize all that, and even if you read from a mushaf or tajweed color coded, please try to memorize because it's beneficial, inshallah. So, you know, it could be pretty easy to explain, kind of is, but in depth it's really intricate. So what I mean by this is, first off, I'll start explaining simply, inshallah, and I'd like to give props to brother Wisam Sharif, and mashallah la quwwata illa billah, in which he gives a good explanation, mashallah, about this. He says that when you say the ikhfa, if you say the word young, your tongue does not touch the top of your mouth. Try it. Say the word young. If you say the word money, the tongue touches the top of the mouth. But if you say the word young, it does not touch the top of your mouth. So ikhfa is basically your tongue does not touch the top of your mouth, but you're saying the nun sakin or whatever it is. So if I say the word antum, so notice that there's a nun sakin and then there's a ta. So that immediately tells me there's a ikhfa there. So instead of saying antum, we're going to say antum. Antum. So our tongue won't touch the top of our mouth. So that's pretty much a simple explanation, but unfortunately, Allahu Alam, it gets a little bit more difficult. We're going to put this over here. If we go into a different example, the same kind of thing, ikhfa, but we're going to use a different example. Anfusakum. So now we notice that the next letter is a fa. So we might just think, well, we're going to nasalate for 2 haraka and hold it. So anfusakum, anfusakum, anfusakum. Okay, tongue doesn't touch. Okay, and then if we use another example, we can use min qabl, min qabl. So notice that there's a ba sukun, that will be qalqala qablu. So okay, you say, well, I see the noon sukun and then I see a qaf, so that tells me that this is gonna be, well, the qaf has fatha, so that tells me this is gonna be ikhfa. So min qabl, min qabl. So that's half right, half wrong. The reason being is that, you know, well, we didn't touch the top of our mouths when we said min qabl, min qabl. But there is one thing that we should try to know, is that whenever we do an ikhfa, that depending on the next letter, that dictates the kind of ikhfa we're going to make. So this needs a little bit more elaboration. The meaning is that ta is near the front of the mouth. Fa is a little behind the ta. Fa is below the teeth, meaning in the lips when you say the F. So when we say antum, that's right. You're going to make your tongue, you're going to put your tongue close to the front of your mouth because you're going to get ready to say the ta. So you want to get ready to say the next letter. So you're going to say antum. For the fa, you're going to get ready to say the fa when you're holding the nun sakin or the nun sakun. So when you say it, you're going to say an. So it's a little different sound. If you can hear it, antum, anfusakum, antum, anfusakum, right? And then the next one, qaf min qabl. Qaf is a tafkhim letter. It's a heavy letter. So this one, when we hold this, we're gonna hold it in the back of our mouths. So we're not gonna say min qabalu. We're gonna say min qabalu, min qabalu. So you hear the difference. We're gonna start here. I'm not gonna say the next letter. I'm just gonna say the ikhfa part. An, an, an. Mil. So you hear the difference. It's kind of like a ladder going down in the back of the mouth. So antum anfusakum min qabl. Another example, if we want to keep up with the consistency of the an, is an and then ta. Ta is also tafkhim, meaning heavy. An tahira. Tahira. So antum أنفسكم أن طهر. So you hear it at the bottom, because ta is a heavy letter, it's tafkhim. We're not going to say أن طهر, we're going to say أن طهر. أن طهر. So you hear the difference. أن. So أنتم أنفسكم طهرا. So these two are kind of similar, but you can hear it noticeably different when I say طهرا. So depending on what the next letter is, that's going to dictate how you say the ikhfa. So if we go to another example, mim and then noon, kaf, sukun, and then mim sukun. This is the word minkum. So we're going to say this. The kaf is in the front of the mouth. So we're going to say minkum, minkum. So if we put that versus min qabalu, and remember we're going to bounce the ba. So the top is minkum, and the bottom will be read min qabalu. So you can hear it kind of minkum, min qabalu, minkum, min qabalu. In both. And actually, in all of these ikhfa, I'm not letting my tongue touch the top of my mouth, but I am changing the placement of the tongue in the back of the mouth to the front of the mouth. Minkum. So I can change the kind of, you could say the degree of the ikhfa, because at the front it sounds pretty light. Minkum. That's because I'm getting ready to say kaf, which is in the front of my mouth. And then the bottom, min qabl, which is because I'm trying to say qaf, which is in the back of my mouth, or it's a heavy letter. So, antum anfusakum an tahira minkum min qablu. So you can kind of hear the difference. If we go to one more example, min, and then we'll have a da here, and ya him. So dal is kind of in the front as well. So min diyarihim. Min diyarihim. So we're not going to say min diyarihim. We're going to hold it, and we're going to make sure that we say it for about 2 haraka. Min diyarihim. Min diyarihim. So if I go through all of these now, you kind of get the idea, is that we don't let the tongue touch the top of our mouth, right? Jazahullahu khairan as well for Brother Wisam for the explanation. MashaAllahu la quwwata illa billah. So we're not going to let our tongue touch the top of our mouth, but also we're going to change the degree of where we say it depending on the letter. So dal is in the front. We're going to keep our ikhfa kind of light near the front of the mouth. Same with ta. Fa is kind of the same, but ta and qaf are different. Kaf is in the front, but ta and qaf are in the back. So the degree of our ikhfa changes depending on that. So if we go through all of these, we'll conclude the video after that. Bidhnillahi ta'ala. Min diyarihim antum anfusakum an tahira minkum min qablu. So one more time. Min diyarihim antum anfusakum an tahira minkum min qablu. Min qablu. So you can kind of hear the degree. This is the ikhfa. It's one of the most common ones as well. So we'll conclude the video here, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.